You want to hear how a real door closes? Please drive by, Volvo. I don't want your sound in this. Like that. Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach, and today I am driving a 1976 Cadillac Eldorado Convertible. Up front is an 8.2 liter V8, and down below is a 3-speed automatic transmission. Now, I'm super excited to be driving this Eldorado for two reasons. First of all, I personally think that this is a golden era of Cadillac, and I will share with you why in the final thoughts segment. But the second reason is that I recently reviewed a 1985 Eldorado, and so I'm going to be doing some comparisons between the two, what changed in 9 years, and it's going to be a lot. But if you would like to submit your own vehicle, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form, takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. But let's get back to that 8.2 liter V8, better known as the 500 cubic inch V8. Well, this is actually the final year for the 500. In 1977, they actually dramatically downsized the engine to a minuscule 7 liter V8. So 8.2 all the way down to 7 liters. Quite the downsize, if I do say so myself. But this is the end of that era of really big gas guzzling V8s. Never again did we see an over 8 liter V8 put into a regular production vehicle for regular use. Of course, we got like the 8 liter V10s from Dodge and things like that, but this was the end of those displacement wars. And for the Eldorado, that was exactly in 1976. Now, like I said, paired to it is a 3-speed automatic. It's a very few amount of gears, but honestly, in a vehicle like this with that lazy V8, you're never really at a loss for torque, so driving it around, it's great. It does the job and is very, very enjoyable. Last but not least, contrary to what I always think, this is front-wheel drive. This is a front-wheel drive Cadillac. They switched to front-wheel drive actually in the late 60s, and that's always just slips my mind. So something fun there. How does it feel to actually drive the 1976 Eldorado Convertible? It's beautiful. What do you want me to say? It's so soft and plush and comfortable to drive. However, this thing is absolutely massive. When you feel a bump up front, you feel it in your toes, and it feels like it's in another region. It's so weird. This car is so big that bumps at the back don't almost even phase you like a school bus, and that is something really, really cool. Visibility, of course, is fantastic because the A-pillars are so thin. Steering, super light, super vague. Takes a lot of turns to get it to actually move left or right, but to be expected from cars of this era. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Up on the dash, I actually have my fuel gauge, and my warning lights would be up here as well. But moving down a little bit, we have the speedometer and what gear I'm in, as well as the odometer. And on the steering wheel, we do get this nice wood grain accents. No airbag, of course. And this is actually a telescoping steering wheel, which is very nice to see. Off to the left, I have my wiper controls, which you can either move up or right. Kind of cool there. Then I have a climate control vent, my headlight twilight sentinel settings, and my climate controls. So this does have climate controls. This did have AC from the factory back in 1976. But it's interesting that vehicles of this era have it off to the left. Very typical of 70s cars to sort of hide the climate controls away from the passenger. Heaven forbid your significant other wants to change the temperature. Absolutely not. That is my domain. You don't touch it. At least that's the vibe that it gives off. Then I do have my cruise control switch on and off. And moving on to the door, we have power mirrors, power locks, and power windows. But I do want to point out, this is the factory trim on the doors, and it has this beautiful pattern on it. And I was talking to the owner. You don't see patterns like this in cars anymore, where it's actually truly ingrained and not just a sticker. It's not piano black. It's not fake carbon fiber. This is real, actual physical trim. Whether the wood is real or not, I don't particularly know, but I just love the attention to detail that they put in here. Moving into the center, we do have a clock up top. 2 climate control vents, our convertible top options, as well as our power antenna and rear defrost. And in the center, we do have a radio. This is not the factory radio. This is an aftermarket one put in, but I really, really like the look of it. I think it captures the sort of ambiance of the original radio while still being fresh and modern, although it does have a little LED readout. That's the only thing that gives it away. Off to the right of all of that, we do have a giant trim piece on the dash. Of course, just like on the doors, it has this beautiful pattern to it, and I love that attention to detail. Then, of course, we do have a pop-out ashtray and cigarette lighter, but we don't have any cup holders, so predictably, the 1976 Cadillac Eldorado Convertible fails the big friggin' bottle test. Now we got to talk about the seats. The seats have been redone by the owner, and I think he's done an absolutely amazing job on them. But I do want to note that they are now vinyl instead of leather wrapped. They would have been leather from the factory, but this is the style that they would have been back in the day. And after almost 50 years, it gets worn out, and so that's pretty much par for the course. However, we do have back seats, so let's hop out and we'll do a back seat review. Well, this will be either fantastic or terrible. I don't see there being really a middle ground. Well, getting in is awful, but once I'm in, oh my gosh, is it great. I have ashtrays, power windows for these right here. Awesome. I get just lap belts just like the front. It's great back here. I would not mind riding back here for hours and hours and hours. I would just soak it up. And that's what this was really meant for, so they really hit the nail on the head. Getting in and out ain't great, but what can you do? Let's hop out. We'll take a quick look at the trunk and cargo space, and then we'll talk about the looks. I'm being honest when I say that I really tried to get it into one parking spot, but the car had other plans. So coming around the back, we do have this little badge. You move it up like that. And as we've learned, square key ignition, circle key for the trunk. Lift it up like that. And of course, we have a fantastically large trunk around the back of the Eldorado Convertible. Absolutely love that. And as you might have heard, there is an air system. So this does have a soft closed trunk. Not as soft as it probably used to be, but definitely still a soft closed trunk, which is fantastic. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and it's so unapologetically Cadillac. I mean, how can it not be? It is so long, so wide, so presence requiring. It grabs your attention when it drives by. As a matter of fact, it doesn't grab it, it yanks on your attention just with its brawn and might. And that's what Cadillac was going for in this era. They didn't want to cheap out. They didn't want to give it this measly little 7-liter. No, this got the 8.2-liter 500 engine, and that is what they wanted you to know about this vehicle. Now, this does have the power top, and so here it is. Anyway, with all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving a 1976 Cadillac Eldorado convertible? Well, it's plush, it's comfy, and it's the heart of my adoration right now. It is so good, it is so comfortable, and just imagining myself as a very well-off businessman or ad salesman or some 70s job, making it to the top, being the CEO, and driving this. This is luxury, and it's an absolutely beautiful cornerstone to everything that is luxurious. However, I do want to talk about Cadillac's golden era. Why did I say that this is one of Cadillac's golden ages? Well, first of all, I want to say that Cadillac is one of the few companies to be lucky enough to have several golden ages. Of course, the Cadillacs in the 50s and 60s with the big tail fins. Of course, the more modern Cadillacs, I think they had a golden age or are currently in a golden age with the CT5V and the CT4V, performance, the Lyric, things like that. But back in the 70s, this was the end of another golden era of Cadillac. Cadillac where we sort of went into a darker period during the 1980s. The 1980s were a big downside. We had the Cadillac Cimarron, which was a 4-cylinder compact Cadillac. I mean, what the heck is that thing? The Eldorado, only 9 years later, was downsized dramatically. And so there's two reasons I say this is the end of a golden era. First of all is that engine. This was the biggest engine that Cadillac since then has ever put in a vehicle, at least a production car. They had that V16 concept, whatever. This was the biggest. Still to this day, it's one of the biggest. I also forgot to mention while filming the interior part, Eldorado literally means the city of gold. It's a mythological city in South America, supposedly made of gold. The roads were made of gold, the houses, the buildings were all made out of gold. It was like this wealthy thing, and so many people over the years have actually tried to explore South America to find Eldorado, and no one has succeeded. It's kind of like the city of Atlantis, so that also feeds into the gold of this car. But the second reason is that 1976 is the final year for the convertible. Now, the convertibles were never the top seller for Cadillac. They were never the most popular, but when they stopped doing the Eldorado convertible, they didn't do it again for over a decade. This was the end of a big two-door convertible. And even when they did start doing convertibles again, it was never really the same. In the 2000s, they had the XLR convertible, which is cool and unique, but it's not big and cushy like this. That's a weird mixed cousin of the C6 Corvette. This is not. This pats you on the back. This gives you a shoulder massage. This hugs you and kisses you and wishes you to bed. And that's what I miss. I miss this era of Cadillac. This golden, floaty, comfortable, luxurious era of one of America's favorite brands. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys enjoyed staring at this absolute masterpiece of an automobile. So great. Randy has been absolutely awesome to let me review this vehicle. He's been great. I also filmed his Lincoln Town Car. I can't say enough good things about him. Very knowledgeable about these vehicles and just so kind and friendly that I look forward to working with him again in the future. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.